Hey, what if I told you there was once a magical land where Fonzie and Batman made a movie together and it was directed by Opie Taylor from The Andy Griffith Show?
Is this a great country or what?
Night Shift was released in 1982 and was brought to you by the team who would later release some of the most iconic movies of the next 2 decades. The team of Brian Grazer, Babaloo Mandel, and Ron Howard would become integral in the 80s and 90s, giving us some of the funniest and most heartwarming movies of the time. Although Ron Howard had directed a few films and spent some time working with the legendary Roger Corman, I still consider this to be his first real film. With Night Shift, you can easily see the building blocks that this writing, producing, and directing powerhouse put together for most of their future projects. Now, besides Ron Howard and his team of creatives, this would also be a breakout role for Michael Keaton.
Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Hi. How you doing? I'm Bill Blazejowski. You call me Billy Blaze. You must be Chuck, right? Nice shoes. Hey, this is all right. Guess this is where I'm going to be working. I'm your new partner. Swish! They're going crazy in the arena. They can't believe it. It's unbelievable. This is great. What's our job? We'd like drive around, pick up stiffs, or what? Is that what we're supposed to do? Hey, Chuck, who's this? Wife?
Fiance.
Oh. Nice frame.
Most critics didn't give a lot of fanfare to this movie when it originally came out. But what I do remember is the acclaim and notice Keaton got from the role of Billy Blazejowski. He even won an award for Best Supporting Actor from the Kansas City Film Critics Circle. Now, of course, not to be outdone, Henry Winkler, the Fonz, was nominated for a Golden Globe in Best Actor category for this film as well. And as a lifetime fan of Arthur Fonzarelli and the man that embodied him, this film is a real treat. There are 2 movies where I really think Winkler was given the opportunity to show a different side and truly express his acting chops. One of them was the 1977 film Heroes, where he plays an unstable Vietnam vet dreaming of starting a worm farm. And the other is here, Chuck Lumley in Night Shift. Henry Winkler plays the type of guy who would send his food order back because his mother told him, if you send it back, the chef spits in it. Which, by the way, my mother ingrained in me as well. Chuck is a great difference from the Fonz, though. He's quiet, scared, and timid. He's consistently chased by a dog in his own apartment building. He has a fiancée who is obsessed with her weight loss before their wedding and shows barely any affection because of it. And he's being constantly pushed around by most everyone he comes in contact with. This is where Keaton's character comes into the picture. Total opposite of Chuck. Yes, this is one of those buddy comedies with 2 opposites conflicting each other till they find a way to get it right and learn from each other. Now, the plot is pretty simple, with Chuck working at a morgue on the night shift, and Keaton is introduced soon enough to be his new co-worker. Keaton is out of control in this role. You can easily see the beginnings of his later roles, and every time he enters a scene, he steals it.
Tuna fish. What if you mix mayonnaise right in the can with the tuna fish? Hold it! Hold it! Wait a minute, Chuck. Take live tuna fish and feed them mayonnaise. Oh, this is good. Call Starkist.
Now, don't get me wrong, Henry Winkler is in no way a side player. He also comedically dominates this film with his quiet, sensible demeanor. I would say he's the straight man, but that's kind of undercutting the role. Now, the main plot we're looking at here involves a pimp being killed and his ladies of the evening being left out in the cold. So with Chuck's financial expertise and Bill's idea man personality and fast talking, plus, of course, an empty morgue every night, it leads to them helping out some of the prostitutes, one of them being played by Shelley Long of Troop Beverly Hills. They begin to run a prostitution ring out of the morgue, protecting and helping the ladies form a safer and more lucrative business model.
What are we really talking about here? Huh? What's the essence of what we're talking about? I'll spell it out for you if I have to. Prostitution.
What is this?
Prostitution. Hey, we can say it. We're big kids now, right? You know, a lot of times it'll help you to understand a word if you break it down. So let's do that now, shall we? Pros doesn't mean anything. Forget about that. Tit, I think we all know what that means. Two, okay, two, tit. And shun, of course, from the Latin to shun, to say no, thank you anyway, I don't want it, to push away. Doesn't even belong in this word, really, so let's get rid of that.
A secondary plot involves two henchmen, one played by Richard Belzer on the wrong side of Law and Order this time, who are searching for a person who took over the old pimp's girls. We also get a sweet romantic side plot between Shelley Long and Henry Winkler.
You know, my father's alive, and I don't buy him anything. You're like a saint.
Because I bought my father a headstone. St. Chuck.
Well, not just for that. You're nice. You're decent.
The humor and story that takes place within the plot is what makes this movie. As I rewatched the movie to do this doc, I realized how many one-liners and quotes were in this movie and how well written this comedy really is. Having the main characters play off each other with such different personalities is a joy to watch, and there's a lot of heart as well. With all the great humor in this movie, the gooey sweet center is not to be missed. There are some really touching and dramatic scenes that balance the movie out really well. I kind of miss those 80s and 90s movies that had so much amazing comedy gold, but at the same time would draft a sincere story with a touch of humanity and heart. Now, as far as the rest of the cast, the ladies of the evening all do a good job. Shelley Long is especially sweet and fun to watch pre-Cheers. As usual, Ron's brother Clint Howard has a small part, which is always a win-win for me. Fun fact also, Kevin Costner from Waterworld has a blink-and-you'll-miss-it role as a frat boy, and Shannon Doherty, who you may know from Causing Chaos on BH 90210, has a small cameo as a Bluebird Scout who assaults Chuck with a box of cookies. Now, of all the buddy movies ever made, this is still one of my favorites, and I think it's because everyone involved was at the top of their game, and Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton are such an incredible match. I'm not sure why this movie has not become a classic or received praise at the time it came out. It's kind of been lost in the shuffle for all these years, and I personally think it should be on more comedy lists. This is one of those movies that I watch when I'm having a bad day or just down. It always brightens me up. It's a comfort food movie for me. For you, I think it's just a great comedy that you may have missed all those years ago and need to take some time to check it out.
This dash, Chuck. Solid gold. Look at this carpeting. Fur. Check out these windows. Glass? Glass, yeah. But we can see out, and nobody can see in. Watch. Oh, watch. Okay, here we go. Hey, yo! Right here! Right here, buddy! Hey, look at this! We got teenage girls! The place is full of broads in here! Yo, Roger! Roger, officer! Is this great or what?
I've seen this film compared to Risky Business several times, I think mainly because of the prostitution link, but this movie came first and doesn't include as much drama as the latter. I personally think it's more in the vein of Splash or Running Scared, another great buddy comedy. Either way, it's a great way to watch the beginnings of a movie, Empire, that would go on to have many more successful hits in future decades. And once again, I can't say enough about Michael Keaton's performance. It is off the charts. He is a constant spark plug that would only continue to achieve acclaim and success with the style of comedy he began to perfect here. Oh yeah, and the Fonz, am I right? Once again, thank you for letting me share my favorites, and I hope you will give Night Shift a chance or just go back and watch it if you've already seen it. It's a great flick. It's funny, very funny. Thanks, guys. See you next time.